What's up, everybody? Thank you for checking out this episode of Chewin' the Rag. Before we get started, I just want to give a couple of quick shout outs. First and foremost, Serenity Landscaping Services. Guys, if you are in the Albany area and you have a big landscaping project, or maybe just you need somebody to mow your lawn once in a while, reach out to Serenity Landscaping Services at 518-331-0774 and let them know that Chris from Chewin' the Rag sent you. Again, it could be a big landscaping project. It could just be somebody to take care of your lawn for you a few days a month. I apologize. Serenity Landscaping Services, 518-331-0774. Another quick shout out, again, if you are in the Albany, New York area, Rite. Rite does plumbing, drain, sewage, all your plumbing needs. It could be as simple as your toilet won't flush, or maybe you had some pipes burst in your basement like me, and you need them to come out. They don't hit you with those weekend fees, those holiday fees that other plumbing companies might hit you with. They always try to sneak that right in the end when you're paying your bill. Rite is very honest. They're upfront and they will let you know this is what you're paying. It's up to you to pay it. Give them a call at 518-649-0921. And same thing, let them know that Chris from Chewin' the Rag sent you. If you are like me, and you are a caffeine addict, pretty much, I highly suggest Dubby. So I partnered with Dubby. They're a clean energy company. They just do powders. I have it right here. I can show you. I'm wearing a Dubby hat, literally. This right here. If you're on YouTube, you can see. I use it all the time. That's pretty empty. Probably should re-up soon. Dubby, it's jitter-free. I drink it in the morning before I have my coffee, to be honest. So I'll start with Dubby, and I really don't touch my coffee until like on my way home. And it's not because I need it. It's just because it's there. I made it, so I'm gonna have it. Give it a shot. They just introduced rather individual sample packs. So you don't have to get the tub like I have here. You can get the individual sampler. And with my code, you get it pretty cheap. So if you go to dubby.gg, grab a sample, try it. If you like it, then you can get yourself a tub. They have shakers on there. They have an anime shaker that they're discontinuing. So if you get it now, you'll be one of the few people that have one of the last remaining ones. They've got t-shirts, merch. If you do like their product and you want to support them, you can grab merch. Like I said, I'm wearing a hat right now. It's got the smiley face on it, and on the back, on the strap there, it just says "Be Better." It's whatever. It's just a little dad hat. But go to dubby.gg and use promo code Chewin. That's CHEWIN. There's no G. Dubby.gg, promo code Chewin at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your order. And then, like I said, they got the sample packs. So it's really, those are probably like $13-14, and then you get the 10% off with me. So you're paying little to nothing to at least try it out. And then if you like it, you can get the tub. While you are here, if you would please follow and support the podcast. I'm on Instagram at ChewinTheRag, Facebook.com/ChewinTheRag, YouTube.com/@CTRPod. If you go to ChewinTheRag.com, all the links are there. And if you are into gaming and watching streamers and whatnot, I also do a little bit over at Pinchworm Gaming on YouTube, which again will be at ChewinTheRag.com. If you go to ChewinTheRag.com, all the platform links are there. And whatever platform you choose to listen to the podcast on, please be sure to subscribe, rate it, leave a comment. Comments are always fun. If you're on YouTube, just leave a YouTube comment. I try to respond back to the majority of people that do comment on there. But also, I think Spotify has a comment option or a suggestion option. If you have anything at all that you would like to see, you could also email me at ChewinTheRagPod@gmail.com. I answer fan submitted, like listener submitted questions, any suggestions you might have for the podcast that you would like to see, or if you have somebody that you think would be good on a podcast that, if you have a streamer that you might like, anything at all, small business owner, something that they have something to promote and you think they'd be a good guest, suggest them. I'll reach out to them. And also, there is a link in the description of this episode to donate money to help the kids. There's a children's cancer awareness GoFundMe going on right now. And I will be putting the link right in the description. If you have a couple dollars, skip a cup of coffee, throw it toward the kids. There's a big charity event going on in September that I'm trying to help raise money for as well. So link in the description, donate your money. And thank you guys for checking out this episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Chewin the Rag. If you are watching on YouTube, you noticed this is all different. I don't have just my gray background. I decided I'm doing it from the couch today. Reason being, it is way too hot, and my AC is over where I normally would sit and record, and I didn't want even just the slightest noise to come through because then I got to edit it, and it's just annoying. So we moved it to the couch. We're going to keep the air on. I'm not trying to sit here and sweat balls, but I'm also not trying to annoy people with the sound of the air conditioner. So we got a new little spot over here, got a new little haircut over here. Went back to work today from vacation. That sucked. Vacation was cool. Went to Pennsylvania. I live in New York. I went to Pennsylvania for a few days, which to a lot of people isn't a vacation. You know, it's a 5-hour drive, but my son's like, I talked about it before. My son's obsessed with trains, and you know, Pennsylvania in that Strasburg Railroad or whatever, that area is full of trains. So they did like a Thomas the Tank Engine thing. So we went. It was all right. My son's 3 now. So everything about Terrible Twos, ignore. I don't care. For all my young dads out there with kids, Twos was like, yeah, he whined a little bit, but Threes, dude, Twos, they're whiny for sure. Little needy because they're starting to kind of figure out what they want. 3, they think they know everything already. So he's a fucking, what is it, 3-nager? People say that shit's legit, dude. He doesn't just whine anymore. That dude, he'll throw hands with you. And right now, I think he'd win. I'm out of shape as shit. So yeah, be careful. I tread water. I tread water. I'm a little scared of him. I ain't gonna lie, but I'll hold my own. You know, I'll put my hands up. I back up. You know, just let him know, like, hands are up, dude. You swing first. I fucking dare you. But also, please don't. The vacation with him. So the thing with kids is you tell them you're going to do something, and that's where you fuck up because they want to go do that now. And it's like, fuck, we still got to like do this, and then we're going to go do this. Or he didn't want to do any of that shit. And it's like, I'm going to stay at this hotel, play with my new train set. It's like, the fuck you are, dude. I could have did that shit at home. You're going over here. But we stayed across the street from like an amusement park. So it was cool to see him go on rides for the first time. He's never done that before. So, you know, they had the kids' rides. And then even like the bigger rides, we were able to go on with him or me or my wife. Unfortunately, it poured, so they closed early. But we at least got to see like how he would do with rides, and he loved it. So that was fun. The Thomas thing was all right. I mean, you see Thomas, and unless you're going to take pictures with him after, you're better off watching him drive by because the inside, it's just passenger cars, and then like a Thomas the Tank Engine would come up over the speaker. So you're not really seeing him. It's just like taking a fucking short train ride while listening to Thomas talk. But the event itself, like they did well with setting up, and the Thomas looked cool. I guess like every year or whatever, they do a different theme. So like this year he was covered in like paint or whatever, like paint splatters or some shit, which I didn't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it was whatever. And then what else did we do? A lot of like, there was like a farm thing because, you know, the Amish fucking all over Pennsylvania. So he shot like a paintball gun for the first time, which was cool. He had like a fucking Apple launcher, stuff that for sure he could have done here, but we don't always do because it's just, you know, trying to find time. Weekends we'll go do like random things. We went and saw like, a local like petting zoo when we came back from Pennsylvania. We'll do random things like that, but finding time to squeeze all of that sort of stuff in without taking time off of work is tough for both my wife and I. You know, we both work full time. And then I do this. I'm working on the basement, stream a little bit, working out again, finally, trying not to be a fat slob. So, another thing he's super into right now is like fishing, which is cool. We don't really catch anything. We just kind of fish, which I think I like more. I grew up inner city. I'm not trying to take fish off hooks. Dude, if we just want to go out there and throw a fucking lure or throw some worm in the water and reel it in and not catch anything, I'll do that all day. I mean, I will take a motherfucking fish off a hook, and I'm sure we will catch some if we come close. But like, it's summer right now, so peak hours is like super early morning because then it's fucking just super hot all day. Unless you're going like out into the middle, you're probably not going to get much. That, or I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, because again, inner city, which is 100% possible, but like, it's usually times he would be in bed is the times I'd like to go. Maybe I'll do like a early morning or let him stay up a little bit later one day, but like I said, he's 3 and he thinks he knows everything, and I'm just not trying to have that fight. He can win a couple battles. He can have a couple. You got to pick your battles. They say be gentle, talk to them nicely, and it's like, I don't know about that, dude. I do not know about that. I think sometimes he needs to be told to go fuck himself. Not literally. I'm not trying to do that. I had that as a kid. You don't want that. They fucks you up. You think you're gonna go be a podcaster or a fucking comedian or something. You don't want that. you need some balance. It is weird, my parenting style compared to like how I was raised. I know I talked about it on here a lot, from my mother, my father, just childhood stories. Like, every parent, those parents that are like, you don't know how good you have it. For me, it was so much worse. And like, my parents would say that to me, and I'm like, how the fuck are you alive then, you liar? Like, I can say that to my son 100%. I know for a fact I'll be able to say that as he grows older. Um, the things that we taught you and the things that how we disciplined you, because really it's like going time out. We're gonna take this from you, like the peaceful thing. It's not. I didn't really have time out as a kid because I didn't really have a living room or a dining room or like a hangout. We were always secluded. So how the fuck could we have time out? How do you discipline somebody without time out? You can ground them, which they did, or you can, which they like to say they didn't, but come on. You tell me you didn't a few times. Get the fuck out of here. I remember. You guys repressing that shit or something? Why are you repressing it? You feel bad? You guilty? Dad? You got something you want to tell me? Send me a text. They fucking don't listen to this shit. My mom might. She shares it. I know she used to listen to Dangerously Average Dudes, the old one. She used to listen to a couple episodes because she would be laughing. The one thing with her, she's always super supportive. It's just like, growing up, you were an asshole, which is fine. She can be an asshole to me. I fucking water down the duck's back or whatever the fuck it's called. This shit's good. They are not sponsoring. I'm not an ambassador for them, but this is a glitch, and I'm drinking the Revive because I don't really want caffeine or anything. This is just like a hydration thing. I might have to get in touch with them because your boy could use a discount or some free products. Glitch, you hear me? I should probably cover up the fucking Dubby hat that I'm wearing, who actually fucking endorses or whatever I'm an ambassador for. So I can handle both, dude. I'll fucking sell both. One I'll sell for energy, the other one I'll sell for fucking hydration. Get at your boy. What else we got going on? We got so I'm doing a solo episode because, like I said, vacation, back to work. I thought, this is just me being a fucking dummy, fighting with a 3-year-old, vacation, doing just fun shit. Really, it was actually a pretty good vacation. I didn't really stream a lot. When I did, it was with like my wife and friends. We were playing like Jackbox games. I wasn't really on like YouTube streaming solo stuff. It was like party stuff. So it was fun. Probably do that again soon with everybody, get a large group. We had a lot of fun doing that. But otherwise, I did a couple episodes of the podcast before vacation and then one right after, like got home Monday. or Sunday. Got home Sunday, recorded a pod Monday. That was last week's episode with Greg and Josh, and that was a lot of fun. There, if you go to Sierra Nova Comics from last episode, go to last episode, go to the description. They are putting up a bunch of stuff with ink and with mittens. Like they're constantly updating. Their web store just got updated. Mostly Greg. Josh, I know we talked about, is an outside artist, but he just went to a con, which we talked about in that episode was con. So definitely keep up with those guys. Next week I will have a drill sergeant. As strange as that sounds to say out loud. So I'm finding people on Reddit, which is cool because I love doing the local stuff. I have somebody local coming on soon as well. But I also like just kind of talking to people in my situation, just like a low-key pod trying to grow and whatnot. And so this drill sergeant, he posts in the podcast Reddit, whatever, guys, check this out, blah, blah, blah. And normally when people do that, if I like what they're doing, I'll reach out. Some people get back to me, some don't. He was cool enough. He got back to me almost immediately. He's in Hawaii, so our time difference is a bit different, but we're going to work something out. I'm going to talk to him. His podcast is called Drill Sergeant's Time, I believe. Let me just double check because I don't want to be wrong. I want to actually give him a shout because it's pretty cool what he does. So it is ba 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 ba. I know this much is true. Ba 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 ba. I know this much is true. Yeah, his is Drill Sergeant's Time. His name's Tony, I believe. And what he does, it's really cool. So what he does is he covers everything related to basic training for the Army. So he'll guide you from like what to expect prior to when you're there to after. So he hits all phases of basic training, pointers, and gives you pointers on ways to better prepare yourself for the life of soldier in basic training. And then obviously a little bit after. And I just want to kind of ask him some questions regarding being a drill sergeant. I have a couple of questions from listeners directed at being a drill sergeant and how he got like the way it works. Because for podcasting, for me, and we're going to talk about this, so I don't want to get too deep into it. But for me, I talked about this before. I'm not a big talker. You're not going to get like my feelings. You're not going to get stories out of me. Mostly when I'm talking to people in person, I'm busting balls. Like I just tell jokes. I'm just there for like in the moment. I don't want to talk about, my work day. I don't give a fuck about work. Once I leave work, I'm done with work. I don't want to talk about it. And I know for some people they do like to talk about their day. So you want to be accommodating and be like, hey, how was work? But don't ask me in return because I don't I'm always going to say it was fine. It was work, whatever. But I always wondered from like that perspective of a drill sergeant, like how much you got to really turn that up. Like, are you typically a reserved person? And then you're like, all right, got to clock in, stretch, doing like fucking vocal warm ups because you got to turn that up. Or are you naturally just kind of like this, like a loud, boisterous type person, motivator, you could say, if you're that type of sergeant? I don't really know how any of it works. So it'll be cool to get like that perspective from him and just have conversation, asked a few questions. Chris McKay specifically, because he was on the podcast. He's a captain. He had questions that he wanted to send over. Mostly funny, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a good time. And then a local coffee company owner, I don't think he has like a storefront. I'm going to eventually have him on. And then I'm going to, just try to get back into the loop of having some local people on. It's just been tough schedule wise. And the people that I've had on, the comic book, I mean, Greg's local. We were talking about that. Greg's local, but they were somebody I booked months in advance. So it was easy to accommodate them. And everybody else, like the streamers, Epsoki, for example, I know his stream schedule. So I was like, oh, we can just work around that. I do it that way. It's easy when you have that these musicians and whatnot, these motherfuckers are working and then they have band practice and then shows. So it's a lot harder to get those guys in than it is some of these guys with set stream schedules. The basement's still the basement. I'm going to continue to update you guys on that. There's still water, still trying to figure it out. So I got nothing there. I set up a home gym down there despite that because there's a little bit of dry area and where it is wet doesn't affect that. So the goal is to not be too thick of a dad. I noticed my shoulders are, I'm leaning forward so it looks worse, but I don't like having rounded. I like my shits up here, dude. So I gotta reshape those up. It was weird though. I saw my barber. He goes, "Oh, you look good," because I was a scruffy shit. But he's like, "You look like you're losing weight," and I was like, "Really?" Like I don't feel like I'm losing weight, but maybe I am. And then after I got my hair cut, I posted. I always got to shout out my boy Pete Maraski, over at Frankie's in East Greenbush or Rensselaer. I don't know what it's considered, but Pete Maraski, go on Booksy and you can find him. Anytime I get my hair cut, I always got to post because he takes care of your boy and cleans me up. As you can see, fucking, if you go to last week's video and then go to this, it's a lot different. So I always got to shout him out. And then Milton, who I've talked about on here, comedian, he was like, "Yo, you look like you lost weight." And I'm like, bro, I mean, two people told me now, so I guess I'll just run with it, but I don't fucking see what you're talking about. And obviously it's not from the working out because I just started that again. So it was whatever I was doing, which is just grinding in a fucking hot warehouse probably. But other than that, I don't really got updates. I don't even really have stories today. I just wanted to put out an episode and talk to you guys and catch up. Haven't really done that since, I don't know, it's probably like fucking 2 episodes ago. I can't keep track of like when the last solo one was. I'm doing comedy. I briefly touched on that last week. I'm doing one more show. I'm not even doing like, this is probably a fuck up on my end, but I don't give a fuck. It's a one-off. Like, it's a barbecue competition. It's in Cairo, New York. It's September. I'll put the details in the description of this video wherever you're watching. It's in September. It's in Cairo, New York. I'm doing, I think, about a half hour. I might do a little bit more, might do a little bit less. It's going to be like the vibe is really what's going to dictate that. Because it is a family event, there's going to be kids. I'm not going to be swearing much. Some of my stories might get twisted and altered and maybe not as funny as they could be if I could talk about it the way my brand and how I talk. But it's going to be fun, I think. Either way, I always told like family stories anyway. So now I just got to kind of tighten them up and clean them up. But I'm not doing like open mics. I'm not doing a showcase leading up. I'm going to do, it's in Cairo. So like, and these are people I've never performed for before. So I'm going to do my old stuff, kind of make it a little bit more updated because I talked a lot about like my wife being pregnant and now he's here. So I can kind of flip that into that. And then I got some new stuff that I've actually worked out on the podcast. The story, my dad smoked my weed and told me it was garbage. Like that story gets a lot of laughs. And just stories like that in general. So it'll be a mix of old stuff if you've seen me, but new stuff as well. Some on the podcast, most not, because I'm not going to sit here and do fucking. So what's up, everybody? My name's Chris. I'm not going to go do fucking stand up on the pod. That's just not what I'm doing. So I'm hoping to do about 30 to 45 minutes. He wanted an hour. I told him, look, if it's going well and I can just kind of riff and mess with everybody in your crowd and talk to the guys and girls competing in the barbecue competition, then for sure I'll do that. I'll do an hour if it's going well. But if it's going to shit and they're just not really fucking with me, can I just do the half hour and dip? And he's like, yeah, that works. So definitely come out to that if you want to see me do stand up. I know people have asked me if I'm doing stand up again. I don't really have any interest in making it like a gig. I mean, shout out my boy Casey Designew, who got accepted to do the Portland Maine Comedy Fest, I believe it's called, in the end of August. So I'm hyped for him. He's still killing it, but it's just not something that I'm currently really into. I'm kind of more into like the digital, the virtual, the podcasting, the streaming. I think that's better for me for my schedule and as a parent and everything else. So I'm not really into doing stand up. I'm doing this not really as a favor because your boy's making a little bit of cheddar off it, but it's for charity. I think all proceeds go to hospice or something like that. Forgive me for not knowing off the top of my head what fucking charity it benefits, but it's for charity, and he asked, so why not? I got the material; it's there. It was cool. He's somebody from work. He's close to somebody from work. They saw me on YouTube and asked if I would do it. So I think I'm going up before a band, which I would actually prefer that than going up after a band. Cause like listening to comedy and then listening to like a little 4-piece fucking jam band just sounds better than listening. I don't even know if that's what it is. I'm just using that as an example. But getting a jam band up there and listening to them, I'm sure it's like some fucking bar band, the typical bar band that you would hear, maybe do covers, maybe not. I really don't know. Um, but just any type of band prior to comedy, I feel like doesn't vibe as well as like, if you're doing well, at least laughing and then like, all right, now it's like wind down with music rather than vice versa. So I'm happy to be opening up before a band rather than after is my point. It's also family friendly, which is cool. It's at a brewery, I believe, but I think I'm on early enough in the day where like, and I'm not really swearing or anything. So I think it'd be cool if like I can bring my son, and I mean, he's gonna probably be a dickhead. No, it'll be, I don't know if he's gonna be like dad's on stage look, or if he's gonna be like, can we go out in the parking lot and run around? Like, I can't really gauge it because he does like this. Like yesterday, for example, he pulled my computer chair out and he's just typing. So I had him like type the password in to turn the computer on. And then I had him like click around and I let him mess with this. I've talked about this on here where it's important for me to involve him in what I do. I bring him to the gym with me when I go. He works out in the basement with me occasionally. Not really right now because it's still kind of musty and he's got little young boy lungs. So I'm not trying to have him down there choking on air. Um, but and then this, like he can mess with the mic. I was like, can you show me how to record? And I was like, I mean, yeah, a little bit. You're not really gonna understand it, but for sure. So I sat down with him, clicked around, and then I just opened up like a game or whatever, just told him go to fucking town on that. But I think it's cool that he, and I'm not one of those dads where it's like, you have to have my interests. Like, I did MMA. You got to go do MMA and you got to do it better. I'm not fucking baby Gronk shitty dad. You know what I mean? That dude's a fucking turd. But I do appreciate the fact that he is into some of the things that I am and that he has like a willingness to at least try them out or be a part of them. Sorry, I keep fixing my fucking hat. It's driving me insane. It's just not, I think my head's just tilted and I don't know how to keep my head straight, to be honest. But my point is, I like the idea of him being there for this. Um, Unfortunately, with all of his food allergies, it's like I don't really want him close quarters in a brewery or touching things, but we always bring his own food. We always bring like wipes and everything. Wipe down any table we're gonna sit at just to like disinfect. And I know these places do a good job at keeping shit clean, but you just never know if somebody, had fucking a handful of peanuts and then wipe their hand on the desk or a table, whatever it might be. So we're always pretty proactive where if he did go and it is early enough, I do think we'll have a good time. But whenever I do a show, even when I did music, obviously comedy, MMA, anytime I was performing pretty much, I never liked leaving after I did what I did. I always stayed for every band. I always stayed to watch every fight. Um, I tried to stick around to the end of every mic, which is like part of the reason why I don't want to go do open mics or anything, because I have that nature where I'm not gonna go do my fucking 5 minutes and leave. I'm gonna stick around, see what everybody's working on, and chat after and drag the fucking night out. It's just my nature, and I'm aware of that. So the idea of going there, doing my set, and then if my son's like fidgety, then I might have to leave. Then I'm leaving before the band, or I get to meet the guy who, like, really sit down and talk to the guy who wanted me on here, or eat some of the food rather. Like, eat some of the food's the big thing. That was the payment right there. They said it was barbecue and I was in, and then he offered money and I was like, well, I was already in, but yeah, let's go. Like, the idea that that might be a possibility is like maybe I'll leave my son at home, but I don't know. I think it'll be cool to have him come, and I don't care if he sits like on the stage while I'm doing it. I don't give a fuck. Do whatever you want. Granted, I don't know if it's gonna be a stage or just me walking around a hardwood floor. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Um, I don't really get nervous or anxious. I kind of just, agree to things and then do them. But it is weird that, I haven't done this thing in years. Kind of switched over to just sticking a mic in my face in front of a fucking screen. And now there's a whole event thing, and you don't know how many people are going to be there. It's for charity, so you'd like to imagine that there'll be a good turnout, just like with the fingerboarding charity that I always post in the description. You always hope for a good turnout at these things. So, maybe there's 50 people, maybe 100 people show up, because these guys are not only inviting people in, but then, the promoter, whoever it might be putting it on, whatever you want to call them. But then you have each barbecuer bring in, their group and people that come in with them and their friends and their family and their kids. So, maybe we get over 50. That'd be cool. It's not something I'm nervous about, but it is just something that I keep in the back of my mind. Like, I definitely got to tighten up, listen to some of my old sets, tighten things, rework some things. And I'm really excited. I hope, even if 3 people who listen to this come out, I hope you do, because I don't know if I'll do it again. I don't think so. I think this is a one-off thing. Um, I I said before I'm done with comedy and then I'm doing this. That's the only reason I'm like beating around the bush. But I really think I'm done after this. I don't think I'll agree to anything else unless the money's right. You know what I'm saying? I talk like somebody who has any like fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Leverage. I like, unless the money's right. The money's not gonna be right, dude. You're an amateur. This money really wasn't right, but you're fucking doing it because you're a good guy. That's what I'm gonna tell myself. I'm doing it because I'm a good guy. But 100%, this is the last one. I'm not doing it. Even like if next year same person reaches out to me, because like, dude, I'm not rewriting. I'm not writing jokes. Like I haven't opened a notebook in a while, and I used to be somebody who constantly did. So you're not gonna get that out of me. I'm not gonna give you my best every time. Like, I can still give you my best right now because it's still fresh. Uh, but in the future, you're probably not gonna get my best. You'll get these same jokes, and you're not gonna want that. And I don't want to do that. So 100%, this is definitely the last one. I'm doing it for Tom or Thomas, Tommy, whatever you go by. I'm doing it for you. And I'm doing it for whatever this charity is, hospice, I believe it is. I'm going to keep saying it because I'm not sure, but it'll be in the description. And I'm doing it so that my son can just see me do it. He's never going to see me put on gloves and actually fight somebody, maybe spar somebody. He's never going to see me grab a mic and fucking yell into it angrily. So I at least had the opportunity for him to see like this shit, and for him to see me do comedy, which is cool. Like, I'm that's enough for me. That's good. Uh so September, it's going down. I'm yelling September. Let me see. September 24th. He says, we're setting up an MMA ring. The loser of the barbecue competition takes me on, which he's making a joke because he, on top of seeing my comedy, he also saw the funniest thing I've done, and that's lose a MMA fight in 26 seconds. So that was the joke there. Um, it looks like I'll be performing around noon, which is like perfect. That's ideal for me. It was funny because I said this last week. He was like, look, man, try to keep it clean. You can talk about weed. Try not to swear much, which is like, I was more nervous about like the weed references, because that was like my funniest stuff is around weed, even though I don't smoke weed. It's like how weed affected me as a child and whatnot growing up, because it was a common thing in the household. Um, so like I was nervous that was a big deal. Swearing is fine. I could just fucking not swear, even though I just did. I can just not swear. He says keep it minimal, which is perfect because a couple shits here and there. A goddamn it, I'm cooking with gas at that point, baby. I'm good. Um, let's see. So yeah, September 24th, Cairo, New York. I have to see the actual venue. I think it's a brewery. So I'll get all those details so I can post them down below. And I'm really looking forward to doing that, and I hope you guys come out. Other than that, I don't really have much going on. Quick little 30-minute banger. I'm kind of liking these short ones when it's just me. I at first I was like, oh, I'm giving these guys short episodes, and this isn't really like the quality, but it is because I ramble, and I've been rambling for a half hour, and you're just gonna nobody wants to hear you ramble for an hour. Now, if I had more stories to give or anything, but like I'm kind of just cooling right now. Everything's good. Um, I haven't really had anything happen because I was on vacation. We already touched on that. So I don't really have any new stories to bring. Nothing's really happening. We're chilling. We got some cool guests coming up. Thank you guys for checking this out. Remember, w.gg, use promo code Chewin at checkout for 10% off your total purchase, or 10% off each item, I think it is actually, which is cool. Shout out Serenity, shout out Serenity, shout out Rite, and shout out PD Muraski for the haircut, dude. Dude, he cannot stand when I come in. I just know it. Like, I'm a fucking project because after this, like, I used to go like, every 2-3 weeks because my shit grows fast. I used to go every 2-3 weeks, get cleaned up, be set. But like, for the past few years, I've just been going every like 7 months. So that dude like sees my name come up on the schedule, and his ass is like, I don't even know if he smokes cigarettes, but that dude's fucking. He just knows like you're gonna have a project on your hands, and he doesn't bitch at me. So I appreciate it because I know damn well if it were me, I'd be like, what the fuck, dude? Start coming more often. But I tip you well, so fuck off. Love you. Thank you guys. We're out of here.